Are you feeling content now? If so, please proceed and sign the divorce documents. All right, I agree, but be aware that moving forward, I will not provide any help or support whatsoever. When I expressed this, my husband Jason and my mother-in-law Kayla couldn't help but laugh. Actually, that sounds more like something we should be saying to you, I thought to myself as I signed the divorce papers. Both Jason and Kayla appeared delighted, almost overly so, with their joy knowing no bounds. However, they were oblivious to the challenges that awaited them. My name is Dana, and I'm a 35-year-old who works in an office. I've been married to Jason for 5 years. He's employed at a prominent firm, dedicating a lot of effort to his work. Due to his demanding job, Jason often comes home late. Although we both are employed, I end up handling most of the cooking and household chores because of our schedules. We haven't started a family yet, which gives us the flexibility to spend quality time together. We often enjoy going out for drinks with friends and coworkers. Since it's just the two of us, we have ample time to engage in activities we enjoy, which keeps our stress levels relatively low. Personally, I don't have many grievances, nor am I particularly unhappy with Jason. However, something has been troubling me lately. Jason's frequency of business trips has increased. He used to travel for work once a month, which was manageable. But in recent months, these trips have become more frequent, occurring twice a month. Additionally, he now often works on his days off and most holidays. While his company generally respects work-life balance and hasn't previously demanded excessive overtime, the recent increase in his workload is puzzling. When I inquired about the sudden change, Jason remained tight-lipped, citing company confidentiality and refraining from discussing business matters at home. This secrecy and the escalation in his working hours are concerning and highly unusual. What really troubled me was that my husband didn't seem to mind the long hours at work. In fact, he appeared almost eager for his business trips and working on his days off, cheerfully leaving the house each time. But knowing him as well as I do, I could tell it wasn't out of passion for his job. At home, Jason hardly ever spoke about his work. He never expressed a desire for promotion or showed any particular drive or ambition to excel in his department. Even more baffling was that despite all these extra hours, Jason's salary hadn't increased. With the amount of overtime he was putting in, it was unthinkable that this extra time wasn't being compensated. These inconsistencies made me start to suspect there might be something else behind his frequent absences. Was it possible that these business trips were cover-ups for meetings with a lover? Was he using his work as an excuse to spend time away from me? These thoughts haunted me. Days passed when I considered checking his phone, but Jason always kept it close to him, never leaving it unattended, not even when he went to the bathroom or washed up in the morning. My suspicions deepened. Trusting my instincts, I decided to hire a private investigator to look into the matter. Although part of me hoped my suspicions were wrong, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. After an anxious wait, the investigation results confirmed my worst fears. Jason was indeed having an affair. His lover was a colleague from his office, tall, good-looking, and exactly his type. The revelation was infuriating. While I was free to socialize, have drinks with friends, and enjoy lunches on my days off, I had always remained faithful. I had devoted myself entirely to Jason, valuing and cherishing our life together. Yet, he had crossed a line that shattered everything. My husband, Jason, betrayed me with ease, lying and doing as he pleased without regard for our marriage. Determined to address this deceit, I first decided to bring the matter to his mother, Kayla, with whom I shared a reasonably good relationship. I believed Kayla would support me and reprimand Jason for his actions. I called her to say I needed to discuss something important and made my way to her home. Kayla has been living alone since her husband passed away a few years ago. Upon my arrival, Kayla greeted me. "Dana, welcome. What's wrong? You seem troubled coming here so suddenly." I didn't waste any time and told her that Jason was having an affair, using his business trips and work as a cover to meet his lover. I even showed her photographic evidence from the private investigator. However, Kayla's reaction was not what I expected. She seemed unfazed. "Oh, Jason is having an affair, It appeared she might not believe the evidence. thinking perhaps it was all a misunderstanding. As I stressed that these photos were legitimate proof of the affair, Kayla bluntly suggested, "Then why don't you just divorce him?" Her lack of concern was startling. "I mean, I will get a divorce, but shouldn't we address this more seriously?" I questioned. Kayla then surprised me even further. "Well, that's good then," she said nonchalantly. Suddenly, she called out, "Jason, Amorous, you both can come out now." To my astonishment, Jason and his lover, Amorous, emerged from the next room. "How did you—" "Oh, hey Dana." "Hello," Jason began awkwardly. "I'm sorry, I've grown to prefer Amorous, you know? And when you said you had something important to discuss, I assumed it must be about this, so I called them over." Stunned, I asked, "So, you're saying you support this? You approve of your son having an affair?" Kayla responded without missing a beat. "Yes, that's right. My son found a better partner. Unfortunately, you just don't measure up to Amorous. She earns more, looks better, and has even agreed to live with me." It's obvious why Jason would choose her. As I struggled to process her words, Kayla accused me of being jealous. "What are you, jealous? How petty." "They say there's nothing uglier than a woman's jealousy, and it looks to be true." Jason chimed in. "It's unfortunate, but it can't be helped. You were never the first choice." Angry and hurt by their callousness, I faced Jason and Amorous, who stood there as if I were the problem. The urge to confront them physically was overwhelming, but I knew that would only put me at a disadvantage. Keeping my composure, I managed to speak calmly despite the turmoil inside. "I don't mind if you two want to remarry, but rest assured, you'll be paying alimony." My mother-in-law, Kayla, responded with a smirk. "Oh, we'll pay. Combining Jason and Amorous's incomes, we can easily afford it. We have nothing to worry about." Then Jason presented me with some documents. "Well then, I need you to sign this," he said, sliding the divorce papers across the table to me. I noticed he had already signed his part. "Oh, I see. So, you had this plan from the start," I realized. Despite their expectations, I responded, "I won't sign it just yet." Their surprise was evident. "Why not? You just said you wanted a divorce. Just sign it quickly. We even agreed to pay you the alimony." "Ugh, you're such a pain," Jason complained. "I'm going home today because I'm not convinced I should sign these papers just yet." "I won't be pushed into doing whatever you want," I asserted. Kayla then tried to intimidate me. "Oh no, you will not leave here until you sign them." "That's right, if you want to leave, just sign these divorce papers." "Are you sure about that? Are you sure you can detain me like this?" I challenged them. "That sounds like confinement. You're threatening me, you know. And I just recorded everything you just said." Both Jason and Kayla flinched at that revelation. "What are you trying to do?" Kayla asked, visibly shaken. "I just don't want to be bossed around and told what to do. I'll decide when to divorce," I declared. "The next time we meet, we'll have our lawyers with us." With that, I left Kayla's house. Kayla was visibly stunned by my departure, and Amorous's expression made it clear she thought I was being overly difficult. Once I returned home, I packed my bags and went to my parents' house. They were surprised by my sudden arrival but became outraged when I explained the situation. They assured me that I could stay with them as long as needed until everything was resolved. About a month later, I had my lawyer present to discuss the alimony arrangements with Jason, who brought Kayla along to our meeting. I anticipated a contentious encounter, but was resigned to the fact that it couldn't be avoided. This was one of the main reasons why I had stubbornly refused to sign the divorce papers immediately. I had this inkling that by requesting alimony before finalizing the divorce, I might be able to secure a better financial arrangement. Guided by my lawyer, I officially demanded alimony, sending a certified mail to Amorous to formalize my request. Surprisingly, my husband quickly agreed and promised to pay the specified amount. "Are you content now? Then hurry up and sign the divorce papers," he urged, eager to move on. I replied calmly, "All right, fine. But remember, from here on out, I won't be here to help or support you in any way." Jason and my mother-in-law, Kayla, couldn't help but laugh dismissively at my declaration. That sounds like something we should be saying to you, they retorted after I signed the papers. They seemed overjoyed, celebrating their perceived victory, unaware of the difficulties that awaited them. After finalizing the divorce, I moved into a cozy apartment near my office, which simplified my commute significantly, allowing me to invest more time at work. Freed from the domestic duties that once consumed my evenings, I was able to accept overtime opportunities, boosting my income substantially. I also pursued professional certifications, further enhancing my financial stability. About a year after the divorce, I received a call from a familiar number that I couldn't quite place. It turned out to be Kayla. "Oh, thank goodness I've reached you," she sighed with relief. "Dana, please, I need your help." Confused, I asked, "What's wrong?" Kayla's voice was fraught with distress. "It's that woman, Amorous. I can't take it anymore. I had a hunch. Are you struggling with loan sharks because of debt?" Her shock was palpable. "How did you know?" I explained. I had an investigator look into it. Kayla accused, "So you knew everything and just left us in the dark, betraying us like that?" "Don't be absurd. You're the ones who betrayed me. Jason cheated and left me. If you've just called to complain, I might as well hang up now." Desperate, Kayla blurted out, "Wait, would you consider getting back with Jason if this continues? Both Jason and I are sinking because of Amorous." She then admitted that Amorous was pushing her around and revealed that before the divorce, I had hired a private investigator who discovered Amorous's gambling addiction and her heavy involvement in horse racing and casinos. It turned out she was also buried in a significant amount of debt, which was just my suspicion at first. I believe Amorous married Jason and moved in with Kayla to cut down on her living expenses, effectively saving money on rent. Being a dominant and outspoken person, she likely coerced Kayla into doing all the household chores and possibly even pressured both Kayla and Jason into helping her pay off her debts. "Oh, Kayla, you must feel so let down," I commented when Kayla shared her woes. "So, it turns out it wasn't me who was lacking. It's Amorous who's really struggling financially." "Well, it's no longer any of my concern. I've moved on." Kayla then pleaded, "Please don't abandon us like this. Almost all of Jason's and my savings are gone." "It seems they got what they deserved," I thought to myself, but didn't say it out loud. Kayla continued, "Because you sent that certified letter to the company about Amorous, both Jason and Amorous faced salary cuts. So, you think I'm responsible? That I should help fix this mess?" I was astounded by her audacity. Yet, despite my resolve not to assist them further, I offered Kayla a bit of advice on how to handle Amorous if she continued to be troublesome. Recording her behavior could serve as evidence of the harassment you're enduring. Also, if you can gather proof of her gambling addiction, that could be grounds for Jason to divorce her. Kayla seemed taken aback by the suggestion but recognized its potential. "Oh, that's a good idea. Thank you," she said before hanging up. Following my advice, Kayla and Jason took action. As a result, Jason and Amorous eventually divorced, and both Kayla and Jason were freed from the burden of Amorous's debts. Amorous struggled to repay her debts, faced issues with several consumer loan companies, and eventually disappeared from their company altogether. Though Jason and Kayla were relieved from the clutches of Amorous, the financial strain and emotional toll over the past year had been significant. Meanwhile, compared to their ordeal, I felt like I was the happiest among us. Things had turned out quite well for me, all things considered. Interestingly, despite everything, Kayla seemed to think that helping her might bring Jason and me back together. She kept calling, perhaps hoping for a reconciliation, but I knew better than to revisit the past. I decided to ignore all of their attempts to reach out, and went as far as blocking their calls to ensure peace in my life. Meanwhile, something beautiful blossomed at my workplace, a romantic relationship with a colleague. Over time, our connection deepened, and 3 years later, we celebrated our love by getting married. Today, we are blessed with a child, and my husband has proven to be a truly wonderful partner. His supportive and understanding nature makes every day brighter. I look forward to continuing this journey, enjoying life with my husband, and watching our child grow up, hoping to create a loving and stable environment for our little one. Looking back at the chaotic twists my life once took, I think about Kayla's peculiar actions, how she premeditated the revelation of the affair by gathering Jason and Amorous in a separate room before I arrived. It strikes me as a bizarre attempt to control the narrative. It's evident now that both Kayla and Jason were blind to Amorous's true nature, which eventually led to their downfall. As for myself, despite the hardships, I emerged from that chapter of my life happier and more fulfilled than ever. The outcome for Jason and Kayla, though unfortunate, was a direct result of their own choices and actions. They faced the consequences they truly deserved. Regarding Amorous, after her departure from the company amid a whirlwind of consumer debts, her whereabouts remain unknown. Occasionally, I ponder her fate, hoping she hasn't encountered any serious misfortune, despite the dubious path she chose. In the grand scheme of things, I find myself grateful for the lessons learned and the new beginnings. My current life, filled with love and laughter, stands in stark contrast to those tumultuous times. I sincerely thank you for listening to my story until the end. If you enjoyed this tale of overcoming adversity and finding happiness, please consider subscribing to our channel. I look forward to sharing more stories and insights with you in our upcoming videos.